Yo, what is going on, guys? Episode 49 of many here. Thank you for tuning in. I am recording Wednesday, the day before the release of this podcast. I am still feeling a little under the weather, so we are going to kind of keep this one short and sweet. Just got some Q&A stuff that we're going to throw out there. Talk a little bit about the carnivore diet, maybe talk a little bit about habits. Just give you guys a handful of questions with some answers, and you guys do with them as you please. So before we get going, too, hopefully you all are Brewers fans. They are kicking ass as of the time I'm recording right now. They're currently up 6-3. So go Brewers. First question that G, the producer, gave me was, what's one myth about the carnivore diet? So one thing that I do want to talk about, and one thing that a lot of people ask me about, how do you go to the bathroom, right, without any fiber in your system? And I think fiber is another good one that kind of has been, I'm not saying like by the government, but it's just been kind of more overstated, kind of more pushed. Fiber's good for you. It helps you keep you regular. Really what fiber is for is like hardening stool. Not that I want to get into that, but fiber is really to bring everything together and to, basically so you don't have diarrhea, right? So fiber may be important, but fiber is also not an essential, vitamin or mineral. It's not a protein, fat, carbohydrate. So it's not like a essential food or a essential, what's the word I'm looking for? It's not an essential nutrient that we need. So there's really no dietary requirement for fiber. Again, I think this is kind of just one of those big myths out there. A lot of people think fiber is super important. So I've got some stuff pulled up here that I don't want to forget. So sorry for being on my phone here. Me personally, since being on the carnivore diet, I have not had any issues as far as, going to the bathroom regularly or however you want to look at it. It is one of those things in the beginning. A lot of people say when you first get into the carnivore diet, you can experience several different things. You can have diarrhea. You can not go to the bathroom for a week. Your body and your gut everything's just kind of changing and kind of adjusting to your new diet and your new habits. So after you kind of get past those first couple of weeks, you kind of get into a normal routine. I do not believe in fiber. I don't think it's a necessary thing. I think it's just one of those things that have been pushed on us to, again, help. So there are some good things about fiber, again, but I kind of believe fiber is good for you when you're eating a bunch of shit and you've got a bad routine as far as what you're putting into your body and how your body handles that stuff. So do your own research, as I always say. There's my one myth. How do you go to the bathroom on carnivore diet? It's not difficult. It's not a problem there. So next question. Something else I'd like to talk about the carnivore diet. I think it's good for a lot of people to consider the carnivore diet. Now, this isn't like what I would coach everybody on. I'm not one of those extremists that says carnivore diet, otherwise, don't talk to me. I think the carnivore diet's a very good experiment for everybody. I think doing it for 30, 60, 90 days, do it as a temporary thing to kind of reset your body and slowly reintroduce foods to you, to your system, I think is a good way to go about it. I think a lot of us have a lot of underlying issues, whether that's, you could be getting body aches, you could have certain kind of inflammation, you could just have some issues that like you don't even realize are there, mental clarity, all this stuff, right? So once you clean up your diet, kind of go the whole foods route, that's really what I recommend. But if you can do the carnivore for 30 days, you're more than likely going to drop a ton of body fat. Where I'm going with this is carbohydrates, sugars. What is that like on the carnivore diet, right? Because a lot of people don't think they can live without bread, without pasta, without that for a couple of reasons. For energy, of course, people think that you need carbohydrates for energy, which your body actually performs really well off of fats. Your brain really utilizes fats very well. And your body can do a lot with just fats. So carbohydrates are more of a glucose thing, glycogen. You don't need, there's nowhere that says you need carbohydrates to survive, basically. So as far as cravings go, when I first started the carnivore just over a year ago, a year and a month or so it's been about 13 months I've been on, you do, I think now I have a lot of like random cravings. Like I can just taste what this random food tastes like that I haven't had in, forever, right? Like a Pop-Tart or peanut butter or whatever, right? Just like random junk food. But I do not crave it. Like I don't go out needing it. I don't have trouble sleeping at night without it. There's a really beautiful thing about cutting sugar out of your system for 30 to 60 days as well. So that's kind of why the carnivore diet's a great reset. A lot of us want that little bite of sugar after each meal, right before we go to bed. We're addicted to sodas, the sugary coffees and energy drinks, whatever it may be. Once you get that sugar out of your system, your body starts feeling a lot better. There's a lot less inflammation, and you just start moving better. You've got more mental clarity. I actually personally quit coffee, caffeine as a whole, actually. I want to say late April, early May. I didn't intend on doing it. It just kind of happened over the weekend, and then I kind of rolled right into it. For those of you looking at caffeine, if you're addicted to it, you should not be taking in 300 milligrams is whatever. That's what most pre-workouts are, but a lot of us are taking in multiple servings of that, right? So several coffees a day, or I know a lot of guys my age might be doing 2 energy drinks, 3 energy drinks a day. I think long-term health, it's not great for you. So it's very hard to make the decision to quit caffeine. It's not easy. It's an addiction. But once I did make the decision and I gave it 2-3 weeks, those first 2-3 weeks weren't the best. I did want to take a nap like at 10 a.m. every morning. I just didn't feel fully awake. There were some headaches, some withdrawals and that kind of stuff, but I powered through it and my sleep dramatically went up. So I track through Aura and through Whoop. So my sleep and recovery, my resting heart rate at night, all these things went up drastically. I've talked about caffeine in a lot of episodes before. There's certain genes that people, there's 2 genes that affect your caffeine intake and how your body produces it. If you've got both genes and they're both working properly, you could drink caffeine right before you go to bed and still fall asleep and not have any problems. Then you can have 1 gene mutation. So you'd have 1 good gene, 1 bad gene, and then you can have 2 bad genes. For those of us that are in the middle or the 2 bad genes, I'm personally 1 good gene, 1 bad gene. And then there's people that have both bad genes. When you have those gene mutations, our bodies don't do well with caffeine compared to the obviously 2 good genes, the people who can just run right through caffeine. So somebody like me, if I drink caffeine at noon, when I go to bed at 8 p.m., I still have caffeine has a half-life of like 8 hours, right? So if I drank 200 milligrams of caffeine at noon, by the time I was going to bed, my body was still trying to fight off about 100 milligrams. And I didn't have problems falling asleep, but my resting heart rate, my HRV, which is your heart rate variability or heart rate variance, those numbers just weren't where they should be. So as soon as I quit caffeine, about a week or 2 afterwards, my numbers really bounced back and improved. So just very interesting. Again, I didn't purposely quit caffeine. I actually just reintroduced decaf because I really do like the taste of coffee. But that's kind of the route we went. It's for those of you who are drinking way too much caffeine, I think you guys really need to think about, how do I reduce my intake? Can I go a week without it? I personally have looked at all the things that like I'm addicted to over the past year, 2 years, and I really do not like the feeling of being reliant on something. And so that's kind of what has brought me to work on these habits personally. I don't want to be controlled by a substance, a thing, right? I want to be able to just function, and then I want to be able to just do without. So that's kind of the decision-making process there. So I'm also going to talk about, I was kind of talking about this gene thing and how do I know that a lot of people aren't going to know what genes they have. So they have out there what's called a precision genetic test kit. I personally did mine through 10X Health, which is obviously like Grant Cardone, Gary Brecka, those guys. I did this already a year and a half ago, a year ago, I can't remember. 12 to 18 months, maybe 2 years ago. I think it's probably a year ago. Doesn't matter for you guys, but I've already done it over a year ago. And what's really cool is it's just an at-home test. I think it was like a mouth swab or a spit in a tube. You send it back, and they give you all of these markers. They give you all of these pages of what your body can handle well and what it can't handle well. It dives really deep into nutrients, like basically any vitamin and mineral that your body is deficient on, or that it could use more of, or that it'll tell you basically like magnesium, zinc, all these things, right? And it'll kind of give you a rating on a +5 to a -5. -5 would be like your body really doesn't do good on it, and for me that's kind of caffeine. I think I scored like a -4 on it. So caffeine was one of those things that I really need to stay away from. My body can't handle it very well. And then there's things like vitamin D, right, or vitamin K. It's like pages and pages of information for you to kind of learn about your body. So, and then obviously the things that my body can really utilize, I might score a +5. And if I get a +5 on it, that just means like more is better. Like it's totally fine for my body to take it in. My body does really well with it, and it's a good thing for me to take in. So, and there's some stuff that's neutral, right? Like for instance, gluten was on there, lactose was on there, right? So those are both at 0. I'm not affected by gluten or lactose. I don't need more of it. I don't need less of it. It's fine as it is. So what was really cool is when it gave me this feedback, it gave me a ton of, again, minerals, vitamins that my body could utilize and could stay away from. So I really dove deep into that. And then that's kind of what created my daily habit of supplements that I take. So I really dove into all of the individual ingredients that I needed, because I'm sure a lot of you listening, you go out there and buy a multivitamin, which if you do get a multivitamin, make sure it's methylated. That means your body can do what it needs to do with those vitamins. We can talk more about that. But you get these multivitamins that aren't really catered to you. They've kind of got this general public, right? Men's multi, women's multi, which is very good. Again, generally speaking, it's better than not taking anything at all. I take a men's multi through 10X because it's kind of got a lot of the things that I already need in it. And it's methylated, which is very important. So, but I kind of went around their multivitamin and figured out all of the other like one-off supplements that I could really utilize. And so then I kind of did my own research on cost effectiveness versus like high quality forms of zinc, of magnesium, like good quality brands. And now I kind of have 20 or 30 different bottles of stuff in my cupboard that I will kind of supplement with and play with and just see how that goes. So anyways, the precision genetic test, when I took it, I want to say it was like $600 or $700. I think since then it's like doubled in price. I know there are other places that you can take these tests. I know that you can do like an online version where they just send you a kit and you send it out. I'm sure there's ways to do it like at a doctor's office as well. I haven't done any research as I've already done mine, so it would be of value for you to kind of, again, research and see what it gives you. The other thing that one really does for me is it talks about these gene mutations, and it's hard for me to explain because I'm not a doctor, but for example, the caffeine one, it told me I had one gene mutation and one gene that was good. And so basically what it's looking at is you get genes from your parents, right? And so when you get these genes from your parents, it'll kind of show you, again, that's kind of where our gene mutations come in. Do your own research on these precision genetic tests. I think it's really interesting to learn as much as you can about yourself to see what your body really can handle, what it should be handling more of, what it should be handling less of. I think you can find a lot of underlying things just by doing that. So if you didn't want to go extreme and do the carnivore for 30 days, which again, I'm not telling anybody they have to do that, this is a good start as well. If you can save up some cash and get something like this, I think in the long run, knowing what your body can and can handle, it also gives you a bunch of foods that are good and bad for you, right? So this list is enormous. I didn't pay attention to this one as much because I'm on the carnivore diet, but it'll go into like types of all of the greens, all of the vegetables that are good and bad for you, all of the fruits that are good and bad for you, all the types of dairy that's good and bad for your body, all of the different pastas and just all of these different makeups of these things, all the different meats and poultries. And so it'll give you like chicken, and then it'll tell you like if it's good or bad for you, and then soy, so super cool. If you really want to get into it, you can really create a good diet regimen for yourself by just doing that as well, because it'll give you a spit out of like all these foods that are really good and bad for you. A lot of people don't realize, and I think they're when they were running ads and stuff for it, specifically 10X, the one guy that they were talking about didn't realize that watermelon was not good for him, right? And once he took watermelon out of his diet, which of course everybody loves watermelon, it changed him for the better, right? Like that was their example. So there's all these just little things that like you don't really realize what you're intaking and what could be good or bad, or affecting you or not affecting you, because we just generally look at fruits and vegetables and whole foods as healthy for us, but there are some drawbacks to some stuff depending on your own individual body type. So keep that in mind. I think it's really interesting. The more you know, the more you can do, the more you understand about yourself. And you've only got yourself, right? Your health is all you've got. Without your health, you've got nothing. So think about investing in your own health and kind of looking to that long term. So hopefully you guys kind of enjoyed that. Let me pull up another question here for you guys, or kind of see where else I want to spew off, because I feel like that was a pretty good area. So one of the other questions that G was kind of like, what's your energy like without coffee or sugar? What do I do, and how is that like on my day-to-day life? So without coffee, without sugar, again, I basically have like zero sugar cravings at this point. Don't get me wrong. And G's looking at me right now when we're at home and somebody bought M&Ms. Like, don't get me wrong. Like, I do want some M&Ms. Kit Kats look great, but I'm not like going throughout the day. When you're addicted to that stuff, you really, after you eat your dinner, it's like, oh, I'm just going to throw a Kit Kat, right in my mouth, right? So I don't have that issue anymore. I wouldn't say I really had that problem before, but ice cream still sounds great. I just don't need it. So how do I, boost my energy, or what is my energy levels like without any caffeine and sugar? So again, once you make it past that 2 to 3 week mark of no caffeine, your body actually rebounds pretty well. Caffeine, and I've done episodes on this. I don't have a reference number for you, but back in the late teens or early 20s, or maybe early teens, we did some specific episodes on caffeine and on sleep. A very quick runaround on caffeine is it blocks your adenosine receptors. So when you wake up in the morning, your adenosine starts building up all day long, and then when you're about to get ready for bed, that's when your adenosine starts releasing, so then you can go to sleep, basically, right? Caffeine blocks that, so you feel good right away, and then as soon as your caffeine wears off, that's when you get your energy crash. So when a lot of people are drinking their caffeine and they got that 2 o'clock crash, it's because that caffeine is now worn off, but then that adenosine all hit you at once that was supposed to be building up all day. When you take caffeine, that adenosine is still building. It's just not making you feel the way you think you feel. Caffeine wears off, adenosine hits you. You feel like you kind of ran into a wall and you're kind of ready for a mid-afternoon nap. Takes you a little bit of time to get through that. Obviously, we all do. Or you go for another thing of caffeine and you kind of start the process all over again. So that is what caffeine does. It's kind of a trick. Some people can function very well on caffeine. Some people need it. Again, I benefit without it. So now that I no longer have caffeine in the system, I actually have really good energy all throughout the day. I don't really have like a mid-afternoon crash. And since I don't take in carbohydrates or sugars, I actually don't ever get that like post-eating tiredness, which a lot of people do. Thanksgiving is one very strong example. You eat a fat Thanksgiving lunch or dinner, you want to pass out right away because you're just crashing, right? Your body's trying to digest all that food. You don't have that problem when you're eating whole foods, especially just meat and eggs. So I don't get that post, coming down. My blood sugar is not spiking, insulin, all that stuff. So I don't have that problem anymore. I just feel good all the time. I eat my food. I've got energy. I'm good to go. So something to think about. I function just fine on it. It feels good. Water is my main source. Electrolytes are very important when you're on the carnivore diet. So keeping your electrolytes high so that way you're not getting like lightheaded or anything. But now I basically just overhydrate. So, oh no, Pittsburgh 5, Brewers 6. Anyways, we will. I think I had another area I wanted to go with you guys on that. Yeah, so like handling cravings for carbs, like I said, like not a thing after you've made it through that 30 to 60 days. I still do like, pretzels, bagels. Those are two things that I really love. Unfortunately, I don't eat them anymore. But again, once you start really learning and understanding like the ingredients in like our American-made foods, the sunflower oils, the seed oils in general, the enriched wheat flour. I challenge you guys to look up like seed oils if you haven't already, and then also looked up like what enriched truly means. It's been so long because I started looking into that before I went carnivore. I tried eliminating kind of like the enriched stuff. Enriched, I think, means we took it and made it, into what it is, right? So like enriched flours, it just means like more processed and just worse for us. So there's a lot of like one-off ingredients that you can really learn a lot about and that I would recommend. So if you don't want to go, again, carnivore or whole foods, that at least you start looking at single ingredients and figuring out, maybe I should take this out or take that out. So sucralose is another big one that I've taken out. I should probably stop talking single ingredients. We could kind of be here all day. So I will give you guys a couple more habits of mine that I've been doing. When I do eat a large meal, which usually I only have 2 meals a day, and that kind of gets most of my calories. Sometimes I'll have 3, just depends what my schedule's like. I generally go for at least 5, if not 15-minute walk right afterwards, just to help with the digestion process. to help avoid feeling tired, to just kind of get all that stuff moving and feeling good. So I definitely challenge you, if you're still eating carbs, eat your food, go for a 5-10 minute walk. You're going to avoid that kind of slump, wanting to go to sleep, take a nap. So that's very important to consider. Also, there's a rule out there, don't eat within 3 hours of waking up and don't eat within 2 hours of going to bed. I watched Ty Lopez say that one recently. I personally try to eat dinner between 4 and 5 p.m. and then I go to bed about 8:30. So I'm giving my body several hours before I'm tucked in to digest that. What happens is if you eat dinner too close to bed, again, since I track through Aura and Whoop and I track my resting heart rate, if you eat too close to bed, your body's working to break down that food while you're trying to sleep. So you actually have an elevated resting heart rate all night, and it's harder for you to get good quality deep REM sleep, deep sleep. It just kind of screws up with all those phases. So, and I have personal experience doing it. I've watched myself what my recovery and sleep is like when I eat at 7 p.m., 8 p.m., and I know how much better my sleep is when I eat at 4 p.m. So I try to eat between 4 and 5 to give myself some fasted hours before bed. And then I try not to eat until, usually I wake up at about 5:30. So again, if I can kind of hit that 8:30, I try to stretch to between 9 and 10 if I can. So really my eating window is like from 9 to 4, which is 7 hours, which gives me a 17-hour fasting window, right? So I do believe in fasting to an extent. I think there's a lot of research, there's a lot more research coming out about a 24, 48, 72-hour fast, water fast, bone broth fast, beef broth, whatever. So, I think having a good fasted window, though, like a 16-hour fast with like an 8-hour eating window is important. I just think it gives our body some more regularity, kind of like, I don't know. Do your own research, do what you want to do, but I think that's kind of two good little tips that I've been doing. Trying to not eat too close to bed. Don't eat right when you wake up so your body can get up and move. And so I think we'll leave off there. I hope you guys found some stuff from this. I really do enjoy talking like vitamins and minerals. Maybe I'll try to show you guys, maybe me and G can kind of, I know a lot of you guys listen more than you guys watch the actual podcast like on YouTube, but maybe I could add in some, if anybody wants to see it, let me know and I can show you more about like what that precision genetic test looks like. It's very interesting. Something to think about too, actually, before, something that I've introduced recently that I think is actually cool. My deep sleep for some reason has been kind of like up and down. Like I haven't been getting as many hours of deep sleep as I had normally been. So I actually started taking ashwagandha, KSM 66 to be exact. I take this about an hour before I go to bed. I take 600 milligrams, but you can take anywhere from 300 to 600 milligrams. The one I bought was just 600 right away. So normally Colton would say start with 300 milligrams and work up from there. But we went 600 milligrams there. And then magnesium glycinate. Those two together are really good for sleep. They don't make you sleepy. This isn't melatonin. Melatonin is a bad thing. Your body naturally produces it. You should not be taking melatonin. But magnesium glycinate and KSM 66, which is ashwagandha, take those about an hour before you go to bed. My dreams have been crazy. My deep sleep has been better. Just something to consider if you guys are having some sleeping problems. So the carnivore diet and eating cleaner foods and getting rid of a lot of these seed oils and stuff will help clean up your sleeping issues, the caffeine, all of these things. But again, it's kind of how much do you guys want to change? How much do you guys want to go about it? So think about all that. I appreciate you guys listening. Camera died, so now we're on the phone, which doesn't matter for you guys. But if you guys want to add me on Snapchat, Colton.Burt, COLTON.BURT. Instagram, Facebook is ColtonBurt19. Check us out there. Thank you guys for tuning in. Hope you guys have a good one.